Welcome everyone, Christine here with a discussion about the Old World Custom Campaign mod with Omens of Destruction. Just gonna take a look at the Legendary Lord campaigns over here on this huge map. Starting, of course, with Arbaal the Undefeated, the 100th Legendary Lord according to Creative Assembly. Now, you start over here in the Bone Gulch. So you start with the minor settlement, you're starting a war with Tomb Kings of all things. Yeah, Konda, the demons of chaos don't particularly like the undead. And it will take you several turns to conquer your province and gain enough favor to teleport, which is fine because you'll be able to get enough cast warriors to go deal with those challenges. But you do have one really nice benefit over here. You have Cultist Enclave with animals. And the great thing here is that you can get Minotaurs of Khorne with Grey Weapon, and Slaughter Brutes. That is freaking fantastic. Like, at tier 3, that is genuinely amazing in a lot of ways. So that is a really good point from my perspective in terms of Arbaal's campaign over here. Sure, the starting position is not particularly great. The Darklands are just not the most interesting campaign area to start with in a lot of ways. They do have a chain of settlements over here to the north of your location, and you have, well, everything that's going on over here with regards to Caracade Peak. So if you want to get involved in the Caracade Peaks Slaughterfest, that's really available to you in your campaign. And hey, Chaos Robbie has finally changed the Belagar starting province, so you now actually have 3 settlements linked together, so you can actually have a proper capital as you're fighting for Caracade Peaks. So that's great. You do so while the distances in the initial province may be a bit much, you do have a bunch of settlements close enough to you that you could go for. So if you just want to spend some time, slaughter some people, that is available to you. But with respect to challenges, and this is one of the things I really like, is that with the challenge, and even more so than Immortal Empire's challenges. So in Immortal Empires, you get a bunch of rogue armies spawning for you to deal with. Here you don't, and I do greatly appreciate it. Maybe CA should take a couple of notes. With the teleportation mechanic, I understand that people feel like, oh, it's burdensome and all that. But for a map like this size, it really adds a lot of variety, because you can spend a lot of time in a map like this in the same area. And with just the teleports that you get for Golgfag, with Skulltaker, and especially with Arbaal, this is great. And what's especially great is, yes, you do have some like minor factions that you get teleportations, but these are not rogue armies, as far as I can tell. Instead, you get either lords or legendary lords. So for worthy battles, we have Nakai, we have Imric. For perfect challenges, we have Karl Franz. Yeah, let's just go beat up Karl Franz. We have Grimgor, we have Ungrim, and the extreme odds, we have Be'lakor and Skulltaker. Oh, yeah. So let's teach Skulltaker who the true legendary lord of Khorne actually is in a campaign like this. So this is great. I do greatly appreciate it. Kind of could have been a bit better of a starting province, not gonna lie about that. Like, just, you're making a waste of my time to just get over here to the mountain. But it is a fairly safe location. There are a ton of useful resources over here, you know. For instance, this may seem insignificant, but it gives you hero capacity for, you know, all. It gives you hero recruitment and hero recruit rank, rather, for all these heroes. So that is pretty damn great to have next to you. And yeah, just, you have a great deal of variety available in this campaign, and you actually have worthy challenges, so you're going to be dealing with those legendary lords. And also Grimgor, just worth mentioning that, like, Grimgor is in a new starting position over here next to Forgrim. Grimgor and Forgrim is back on the menu, boys. Oh yes, that's certainly gonna be a real interesting situation over there, I imagine, for Forgrim. So it's not like, oh, the rest of the campaigns have stayed the same. No, there's been changes as well to other campaigns, positions, all that. I'm wondering who starts over here in Albion. Don't know. Well, I guess they put Ali Fanar They just removed, he just removed Grimbar, but you still have Yambo, Marcus Wolfhart, Krakgar, Rakarth. Ugh, disgusting. Well, maybe Malice Darkblade is someone else, or maybe Rakarth is just a more interesting campaign. Make of that what you will. And also the rivalry with Lokir, who knows? With regards to Skulltaker, he starts in the realms of Khorne, dealing with his Slaaneshi invasion, because of course he would be tasked by Khorne to deal with that. And the solution is to invade Slaanesh in return. No, it's probably not a recommended path, because your settlement over here, it's gonna take you a while to get access to, obviously, the Exalted Hero, the Cultist, and then you might want some territory over here. Now, you're probably better off just, yeah, destroying the settlement, which is held by Slaanesh, initially, or just conquering it, and then marching your way through the realms of Khorne outside. Fancy stare out there, and dealing with things. It is gonna be probably slow, because with the way the map density works in the old world mod, in particular in certain areas like this, it is going to take you a while to get going. On the flip side, you're not necessarily too far away from a massive industrial center that just may have all the solutions to all of your problems. Like, literally every single one of them. Economically, unit variety, resources, you name it, you can get it over here in Zarnagrund. So basically, I mean, in general, getting access to Zarnagrund would be great, but being able to, you know, pick up a cultist camp with animals, pretty damn powerful. Being able to take Zarnagrund itself. And the thing is, because of the way Zarnagrund is split, you don't need to just rush the capital, right, and start dealing with 2 stacks. There aren't 2 stacks over here, there's just 1. Rather, you can show up here in the Falls district, or just send the hero on a journey while you're dealing with other things. Send the hero on a journey, because it will be a journey that takes a while. Send the hero on a journey to go over there, teleport right here, take this entire district, or burn it to the ground, and you may be able to also vassalize certain factions in the process. Because holding a lot of territory as Khorne is kind of pointless. Why do we hold territory? Well, there's a couple of reasons. One of those is one of the principal reasons why capturing a lot of territory in a lot of campaigns is worth it, is because of income. But Khorne doesn't generate income. So you can just start vassalizing factions, and eventually maybe Grimgor will start showing up over here, because he's already on his way in this specific campaign. But lots of resources, lots of possibilities. I mean, there's a lot of people over here to kill. For like Ironbrow, Grimgor, Zaytan, just a lot of people as well. Like, there's plenty of lords here, because Zarnagrund may have a rebellion issue as well. And if you've watched my video on the subject of Skulltaker, yeah, his start may be slow, but once you unlock the replenishment over here, and once you unlock the healing of Bloodhost, along with the movement range, all that, again, it's gonna take a while. Personally, I did waste a lot of time in this campaign going to the realms, teleporting back. Didn't really work out, because I thought I'd at least encounter some lords along the way. I didn't actually, for quite a while, deal with anyone. Until I met Kairos over here, who, by the way, is in this area, so just, yeah, go deal with Kairos, deal with the other factions. The Realms of Chaos kind of suck, because you have distances between settlements, you have this single region settlements and all that, so that's not especially great. Well, just like CA had to nerf Skulltaker by putting him illustrious, so this Chaos Robbie, I guess, have to nerf Skulltaker by putting him in the Realms of Chaos, because yeah, that does genuinely hurt your campaign, or at least the pace of a campaign. But once you get going, you get going. In fact, I don't even have a target to teleport to, because it's like you would want to use teleport on a target-rich environment. Like I guess like I'll just teleport in the mountain somewhere over there. Next up, we have Golgfag Maneater. There's really not much for me to say on this. It's just a campaign that works. It scales well with the old world map. It handles this map effectively. The one problem you may actually have is on this specific map really lies with the fact that many factions may not necessarily be a war, so getting some contracts sometimes, or at least contracts that feel worthwhile, can be a bit tricky. And then you get the contract that's on the other side of the freaking, or a significant distance away from where you are, and it kind of just works out, doesn't it? So, not really too big of a problem with Golgfag. Works well, has a good start to his campaign. What's a bit interesting about this start is you start over here next to Bugman's Brewery. Well, you start roughly here. You start with Gristle Valley, but you also have this camp right here in Everheim. So you can get the contract very quickly from Nuln to just go beat up some vampires, or beat up Nuln in favor of the vampires. Your initial choice is between the dwarves of the brewery or the ogres who control the surrounding land. I'd probably go with the dwarves, just saying that. It depends, though, on who gives you the better rewards. But really, no complaints. Pretty iconic, though. He didn't get Bugman's brew by going to the brewery. He got it from raiding Ungrim's, you know. I mean, that's what the quest battle is showing, right? Which, by the way, that quest battle, that particular battle in Warhammer or lore, did not happen right in the middle of the Empire, I think. Pretty damn certain it was in a very, very different location, but what do I know, right? There's so much Warhammer lore, decades and decades of lore, that's kind of hard to track some of this stuff sometimes. But yeah, Golgfag works. Then we have Gorbad. Oh dear. So Gorbad starts over here in the Border Prince's territory at war with a Kislev faction of all people. I mean, okay, I guess that is a way of introducing variety to a map. There's too much Kislev on this campaign map. I understand that it's like, you know, just like Cast Rabia is obviously focused on preventing like just overcluttering of certain races in certain portions of the campaign map, but it does kind of end up feeling a bit ridiculous. Just kind of worth saying that. But hey, if it works, right? Now, with regards to Gorbad, I mean, his campaign situation is just weird, kind of, in the old world. Because, on one hand, his main thing in the lore, right, is with regards to Iron Rock, which, even in this campaign map, is a provincial capital. Some people really must say Iron Rock. Like, it's, to understand, Iron Rock is one of the most substantial greenskin settlements in the lore. I mean, that and Black Crag, right? Both are very substantial settlements. Why is Iron Rock never a provincial capital? It should be a provincial capital. It's a far more important settlement than this. Just worth mentioning that specific aspect over there. I mean, at least Gorfang starts with Black Crag, right? That's appropriate. But really, I think like Gorbad should start with Iron Rock, but you can go for it if you want to. Like, just pass over for the forest, go for this territory, make your way to Iron Rock, which is going to be a minor settlement. Rep. Oh well. And then go fight Belagar. Ugh, that's an interesting one. I mean, I guess you could quote-unquote save Skarsnik in this campaign. Essentially, all roads in this campaign may eventually lead you to that. But then your short campaign victory conditions, like, obviously require you to go into the Battlelands as well. Why exactly you're not starting in the Battlelands? That's a pretty damn good question with regards to it. I mean, what? Is it, would Barakvar suffer too much? I mean, I'm gonna go for them anyway, regardless of that. But then long campaign victory condition, geez, eliminate all these factions, destroy Reichland, Wezeland, and Saarland. Fun fact though about Saarland, that's obviously Saarland, right? So solid value. But what I am curious about, can we get this effect right here? Because that's a pretty important effect, but in Immortal Empires you can just click on this and it shows you where you need to move it. Maybe the trigger for that works, it's just not, the button is not working, what do I know? So, with regards to that, just a bit weird though. You should start with Iron Rock at the very least. I mean, I know there would be greenskin legendary lords too close together, and that's one of the things that Cast Robbie has trying to avoid, just placing legendary lords right next to each other. But I mean, it would be very damn appropriate. I mean, I guess he wanted to avoid people, just Belegar players smashing Gorbad and Gorbad players smashing Belegar, but that's gonna freaking happen. Because, let me just put it like this. You want to go for Carragate Peaks as a greenskin or dwarf, if you can. The significant number of benefits from the landmarks over here cannot be overstated. And why wouldn't you go over here as Gorbad, or, you know, Grimgor, who's over here? But if I'm playing Grimgor, I'm sure as hell coming over here just to beat up Scarsing and claim all this territory in a single run, because, of course I am. I mean, there's gold, there's wonderful landmarks right here with a lot of powerful resources. Yeah, I'm coming to claim this shit. Why not, right? That is just worth pointing it out. Maybe Belegar should start in a bit of a different location. I don't know. That would just be an idea of mine with respect to all of that. It is much better that Belegar's campaign has certainly been improved in terms of its starting position, etc. But yeah, I think like obviously, you know, some things can change. I understand wanting to avoid like another Scarsden campaign or another rush for Carragate Peaks, but you kind of put Gorbad in the worst possible situation, because on one hand, because here's what you're going to do, and this is my issue with the Immortal Empires campaign as well, don't get me wrong, there's tons of issues there with his starting position as well. Because you want to go southeast in this situation, as you want to go south in the Immortal Empires campaign, then you want to turn around and go freaking north. That's annoying. Like, oh, I'm going in one direction, then I have to turn all that I got around to win. That is... Say what you will. Like I understand you can do a bit of a round trip, right? Conquer territory along the way. But the campaigns are not completely, you know... But the problem is when you're putting the player in a position where, on one hand, they want to go in one direction for one objective, then they want to go in the exact opposite direction. If we had full control of what happened in the campaign, that would be one thing, but unexpected shit happens. You know, factions win that you don't necessarily expect to. Doom stacks arrive at your doorstep when you don't want them to. Things are a chaotic mess sometimes. Adding to that with victory condition, and this is not really cast right, but like I understand the victory conditions, they make sense from a lore perspective, but the starting position is not suited for it. You look at what Gorbad did in lore, he spent a lot of times, like yeah, he fought over Iron Rock, all that. But where he fought, best as I can tell, he fought along his way directly in the Empire. Like, the dwarves tried to stop him from entering the Empire. The Empire tried to stop him from entering the Empire. And then it's like, they barely were able to throw him out from Altdorf. And then he ran away all the way in the Badlands. Dwarves met him, quote-unquote, killed him. Well, they didn't. Anyway, that's all I had to say. Costine signing out. Stay tuned for more.